guys, welcome to So Bliss. Today I'm going to show you how to make a self-binding blanket. Here's one that I've already made with these cute little dinosaurs. I pieced this blue piece and this green piece and then another blue piece on the bottom. And then I just have the dinosaur piece on the back. And I just love that. My little boy loves it. He thinks it's so fun. This is a smaller version that would probably be for a baby. I'm going to do a little bit larger today, and this one is squared. Most of them are squared, and I'm going to do a rectangle one today, so hopefully that turns out well. But I'm going to be using this fun floral fabric. So depending on what size you're going to need, you're going to want a front piece. This is going to be my front piece, and then this is my back piece for this one I'm making. So I actually already have both my pieces cut out, and for mine, I'm doing 45 inches long by 40 inches wide for this backing piece. And then for my top piece, it's like this striped, it kind of looks like it's pieced actually already. That's going to be 35 by 30 inches. So what you're going to want to make sure is that the backing fabric is 10 inches larger than your front fabric. So whatever this size is, just do 10 inches less on the sides. So make sure that's what it is. So I have a 45 by 40 inch piece, and then I have a 35 by 30 inch piece. So hopefully that's not too confusing. But you can do whatever size you want. You can make this larger or a smaller blanket, a baby blanket or like a swaddle blanket. I'll put a list down below of different sizes of baby blankets, and that can give you an idea of what size you want to make. Now, other than these two pieces of fabric, you're just going to be needing all of your basic sewing supplies. So let's get started. Now for my first step, I'm going to be finding the center of each side of my fabric. So I'm going to do this to both pieces. This is my backing piece, and here I have my two corners. I'm just going to fold those together, and once those are matched up, come over here to the folded edge, and there's my center. So I'll mark that with a pin. And just put that in there so there that side's marked. Then I'll take the other side and do the same thing. And just find that center on that as well and mark it with a pin. Each of those sides marked, I'm then going to lay my pieces right sides together. So here I have my backing piece laying down on my table, right side up, and then I'll take this front piece and turn it right sides down, so right sides together. And now I'm going to go around and match up each edge, the center points that we pinned. I'm going to match those pins up and pin again. And now I'm going to work my way out and just keep those edges lined up. So here I have my center pinned right here, and I'll just work my way out all the way to this point. Now I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch on the end open, so I'll mark with a pin right there to my 1/4 inch. And you'll notice we have this hanging off, and that's okay. We're gonna leave that for later. Now once you get all your edges pinned, you're going to notice it looks a little weird at first, but we're going to handle that in a minute. So just hold on and just wait. You'll kind of see this one's a little weird too over here. I did leave about an 8-inch opening so that I can turn it right sides out once I sew it. So don't forget to do that or you're going to have to unpick it. So now I'm going to go around, and starting from the center where I match those pins up, I'm going to stitch out to my 1/4 inch pin. And I'm just going to do that on each side. So I'll start from the center, stitch out, start from the center again, stitch out, all the way around. After you have those edges finished, next we're going to take care of these openings that are kind of weird and this little side part. So now I'm going to place my blanket on my table, and I just have my backing on the table with my front piece on the top, so that I can see my little corner piece right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my edges that I just sewed and I'm going to match those up. I'm going to fold this in right here and like a little taco, just fold it together and match the edges up. I'm not going to go very far down, and make my corner piece lay nice and flat. Now mine's going to be a little wonky and a little different because I'm doing a rectangle. Now a rectangle is going to be a little bit more tricky to maneuver those corners. So if you're a beginner, I would suggest starting out with a square. That'll be a lot easier, and then you could do those mitered corners much more beautifully. Whereas this, I'm kind of just maneuvering it to work because I really like this bigger size of a blanket. So here you have mine. See, mine's not lined up, and I'll show you what a square one would look like, but mine's not lined up as beautifully as it would have been. So I'll lay that down on my table and grab my ruler. So here I have those edges still lined up right along here, those raw edges that we sewed together. And then over here I have my fold line. So I just placed my ruler right along that fold line, and then here I have it lined up with the end of my stitching. So you can see my stitching ends right at that point. So next I'm going to take my marking tool and I'm going to mark right along where this ruler stretches from the fold to that stitching line. Okay, so now that I have it marked, I'll probably pin it before I move it, and then I'm going to go over and sew what I just marked down. That line I made, I'm going to sew it down, and then I'm going to pull my corner out and make sure it looks all right to me, and then I can cut this off. I'll measure 1/4 of an inch out and cut it off at 1/4 of an inch, and then I'll be ready to turn it to the other side. Now if you are doing a perfectly squared blanket, I wanted to show you what your mitered corner would look like. Now obviously I've already cut mine off, but if you could look at this line right here, you'll see it goes in line with the edges of my blanket that I matched up right here. Here is my fold right here, so my ruler's in line with that. So if you can imagine, this piece would have come right along here. Not that big, but I just laid my ruler down and it laid perfectly like a triangle, and I just matched my ruler up with the fold of the fabric and then lined it up with my stitching right along here and drew that line and stitched it down. So you're doing it exactly the same way. I just wanted to show you the differences between the square and the rectangle. When you're turning your blanket right sides out, make sure you really get into those corners and press them out, making sure the full point is out. That'll make the blanket look a lot nicer. Now one thing I realized with the rectangle blanket instead of a perfect square blanket is that my binding right here is a lot bigger than on my side. Now I'm okay with this because this was just kind of like a trial blanket and I just wanted to see how it would turn out and if a rectangle would work, and I think it's actually looking really good so far. So just so you know, if you're doing a rectangle, that the side and the top might be a little different, but on my square they were exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about that if you're doing a square. So now that mine is turned right sides out, I'm going to go over to my ironing board and iron this all down. Now here I have my blanket all ironed and ready to be sewn. So I'm going to top stitch all along the edge, right along the binding and the front of my quilt, just right along here. I think I'm going to do a cute little decorative stitch. And you want to make sure that you close up that opening that we left so that we could turn it right sides out. So make sure you close that up, and then you are all done with your quilt. So I'm going to go do that real quick. And now when you're all done top stitching, you are done with your self-binding blanket. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!